Okay. All right, I'm Frances Cruzen Gray. I met Per Gray at Cameron High School in 1936. He was a senior, and I was a freshman. And I fell in love with him when I first saw him. But he also had a girlfriend in Bonanza, Arkansas, and he was real crazy about her. So really, we didn't get to go together. We went a little bit when I was a sophomore. That was in 1937, and he had already graduated. Well, as time went on, and I was in the 11th grade, he had given his class ring to Virginia, and he told me he was going to get it and give it to me. But he never did. And I had quit my boyfriend in Williams to start going with Per. So anyway, I told him, I said, well, now I'm not going to go with you anymore. I'm going to go back to my old boyfriend. His name was Kenneth Godfrey, and he later married a nice gal and made a doctor, and he lived in Wichita, Kansas. And he and his family come by to see me and Per one Sunday, and we had a good time. But he later died of a heart attack, and he was buried by his wife in Heavener, Oklahoma. That's where she was from. But anyway, I graduated. Anyway, I told Per about the deal. He said, no, I'll quit Virginia, and me and you'll start going steady, which we did. Well, anyway, we went together in the 11th grade, and he gave me an engagement ring. And in 1939 is when I graduated from Cameron, and there was 3 other couples. All 4 of us couples ran together and dated together. Well, all 4 of us couples dated within a month of all of us. We were real good friends, and me and Per married in June the 17th, 1939. And Aunt Verna Ramsey, which was my aunt, Uncle Bill Ramsey's wife, she and Mrs. Rout that lived next door to us, and Ollie and Tag, which was her sister and brother-in-law, they were there to witness our wedding. And they come over on Saturday morning, Ollie and Tag, and Ollie and me and Mama stayed home, and we cooked. And Daddy and Per and Tag Martindale all went to Poto to get the marriage license. And Per liked a little bit of being 21 years old, but anyway, we knew the man that would issue the marriage license, and he went ahead and issued the marriage license, even though his dad and mother didn't sign for him. So anyway, they came home, and that night we had a picnic at in Williams, and we all went to the picnic that night, and we came home, and Ollie and Tag stayed all night with us. We stayed all night at my house, and the next morning was Sunday morning. Well, we all got up, ate breakfast, and Mama cooked a good dinner. And that afternoon, about 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, we came home over to his dad and mother's. Mr. and Miss Gray was sitting out on the front porch, and they welcomed me, and I was happy they did. I didn't know how they would take our marriage, but anyway, they welcomed me, and they was real good to me, and we lived with them for 6 months. Then Mr. Gray had a little 2-room house, and it was on this property where we are now. And me and Per moved into that property, into that little old house. Well, Per's brother lived up on the prairie from here in a 4-room house. This was during the WPA days. And Nelson had taken a business course at Drom's Business College, and Per did too also. But anyway, the WPA hired Nelson, that was Per's brother that lived in the little 4-room house. They hired him as a bookkeeper for the WPA, and he moved to Cameron. Later moved to Tallahassee, and during all this time he had milking cows, which he couldn't take care of them, so he told Per, he said, if you and Francis want to milk my cows, said I'll give you the money that you sell the milk from, and also the calves that they have, said you can have all that. Well, we took him up on the deal, and we moved up in that little 4-room house. And that was in 19 and the latter part of 40, I guess, because we had married in 39, and Ella Jane was born up there. I mean, we were living up there on the prairie in that little 4-room house when my water broke that night at midnight. Well, we got up and we come down to Mr. and Miss Gray's, and Miss Grace said she was timing me with my time, you know, and she said, well, in the morning, said, you go back home and milk, said, you'll have plenty of time because she's not going to have this baby until about 10:30. And we was over at Mama Gray's. So sure enough, we went over there and they got a hold of it. We didn't have phones. Somebody, I don't know who, went to Bonanza to get Dr. Burgo, and he come over there, and Ella Jane was born at 10:30. October the 28th, 1941, and she was a beautiful, beautiful baby, and had the prettiest little round head, and it was just full of black hair. And Mr. and Mrs. Kerr lived down below that bridge, below the old home place, and they had 2 little girls. Well, anyway, he come up there for something, Mr. Kerr did, and he didn't know that I'd had Ella Jane. And he went back home and he told Miss Kerr, he said, if you want to see a beautiful baby, said, you go up there and you see Mr. and Miss Gray's baby. Her name is Ella Jane. Said, that's the most beautiful baby, even past mine, that I've ever seen. Said, she is a beautiful baby. And she was beautiful all of her life. The longer she grew in age, the prettier she got. But anyway, to make the story short, this was in 1940. And we bought, 1942, and we bought a 1940 used Ford 4-double deluxe car. That went in, and then we went into the dairy business, started buying, and then we bought a brand new pickup, and the rest is history. With this truck and cars, Dad liked pretty trucks and cars. He always bought the best truck and cars. Dad was always a good family man. He loved me and Pooh. That's what we called her. That was her nickname. And that was Ella Jane's nickname. And Pootie. My nickname was Chant. And Joe Don Ramsey still calls me that to this day. My bubble busted when I lost Purr and Ella Jane. Life has never been the same. But I thank God for my family, Britt, Jamie, Hayden, and Alyssa. And George. I don't know what I would do with any of them. I love all of you. I feel I'm in the way a lot of times, but you all are good to me. I don't know what I would do without you. Let's see. I don't know what that is there. Oh, Alyssa came down and stayed with me 3 hours. I really did enjoy her. They were going to go to a birthday party today at Doug and Amanda's kids. We talked about the bedroom suite, which was in Mama's bedroom for her room. They were building their new home. Don't know if she can use it or not. We were excited about it. Well, I'll close and maybe think of something else later. Now let's see what this is. Okay, this is to Britt and Jamie, August the 20th, 13. The table with the TV on it in Ella Jane and George's bedroom was my grandmother Ramsey's, Mom's mother. Me and Dad bought the dining room suite for Ella Jane when they built their new home. The table round in your bedroom was Mama's. We had it at Williams, Oklahoma. The little rocking chair in that room, which is Britt's bedroom, was Alice Marie's. That lamp on the table with the fruit in the bottom, Dad bought that for Ella Jane when they built their new home. She picked it out. And we bought that big chair in their bedroom. That was mine. And we bought it when we bought that sectional couch. You know, we've got that up there in the garage today. I've got pictures of it when we had it in the living room like it used to look. It's possibly 60 years old. This lamp on the dresser, round with roses, was bought in my big bedroom, was brought at Cresses in 1948 or 49 when we got this house. We moved here in 1948. We moved this house here in 1948 from Hartford, Arkansas, and we gave $1,000 and $600 to get it moved. sold the lot it sat on down at Hartford for $35. I never had a new house, but this was like a new house to me. We first lived in a little 2-room house, then a 4-room with a screened-in back porch. They all belonged to Papa Gray, Per's dad. Then this house we have now, when we bought it, we thought we were rich, but I'm thankful for it. The Lord has been good to us. Nobody else had anything, so we were all thankful for what we all had. And now I've got some more somewhere, a lot more. But I can tell you that I was born in Alex, Arkansas in January the 23rd, 1921. And I was the 4th child. Mama had twins. They were married in 1907, my dad and mother, and they had twin girls in 1909. One of the little girls died the day they were born, and the other one died the next day. Then, in 1917, that's when Mama had Alice Marie. And she died when she was 7 years old of Bright's disease, and it was caused from the measles. Alice Marie and me had the measles. I was 3 years old, Alice Marie was 7, and they settled on her kidneys. And one day we went outside. We had a garage to use a bathroom to pee-pee. And we come in the house, and I was only 3 years old. I don't remember anything about Alice Marie. And Alice Marie said, Mama, when I pee-peed, said there was blood. So we didn't have telephones, so she got Uncle Bill or Uncle B to take her and Alice Marie up to Altus, Dr. Post. He was the doctor. And he knew exactly what was wrong with her. And he said, Miss Cruzen, I want you to take Alice Marie to Fort Smith. And I used to remember the old doctor's name, but I don't. But anyway, Mama had a sister, Alice, that lived up there. The house is still there on South 23rd Street. I took Britt by there one day to see it. So the doctor told Aunt Alice, said, Miss McGraw, don't you let Miss Cruzen take this little girl home because she's not going to live. And Mama stayed at Aunt Alice's, and she lived a week and died. And they took her down home, and she's buried there in the cemetery where Mama and Daddy's buried. And Aunt Lean, which was Mama's sister, was dying at the same time. She was only 30 years old and married, of TB. And Uncle Bill slipped around, and we didn't want Aunt Lean to know about Alice Marie dying because we knew she was dying. But Uncle Bill slipped around, that was Mama's brother, Bill Ramsey, and told Aunt Lean, said, did you know Alice Marie died? Well, naturally, she didn't. And she asked Uncle Bill, and Uncle Bill told her all about it. Well, anyway, she told the family. She was in bed up at her husband's house, which was Daddy's own aunt on his side. So anyway, when Aunt Lean died, she wanted to be buried by Alice Marie. So they did. They buried her by Alice Marie. And Mama said, after the funeral, said I'd go around and I'd say, Mom, where's Sissy? And I'd go all through the house hunting her. And I'd holler, Sissy? And she'd say, she not here, she gone. To Mama, you know. And then I'd go back to Mama and I'd say, Mama, where's Sissy? I can't find her, she gone. And I know that nearly killed Mama because, you know, they had just buried Alice Marie. But anyway, I grew up in Alex, and I went to the 1st grade, and then we moved to Williams, Oklahoma. Dad worked in the coal mines down there, and so did Uncle B and Uncle Bill. And the mines down there at Alex worked out, so we all moved to Williams, and there was a lot of the families there in Alex that was coal miners, and they moved to Williams too. We was like a big commune. We moved to Williams in 1929, and I was 8 years old. So I started to school and graduated through the 8th grade at Williams, and then, like I say, I started to high school in 1936, and I told you the story about me and Per. But I have some more of this somewhere, and I'm going to find it, and we'll continue from there, okay? And then I'm going to tell you more about this house, you know. So I'm 93 years old, and I've lived on this same property 75 years. not in this house. We moved this house in 48, and we've lived in it ever since, but on these grounds, it's 5 acres right here. I've lived here 75 years. And I've enjoyed all of it, except some of it when we lost her and Ella J. And now I'm going to continue this. I've got a lot more wrote down somewhere, but okay.